Good.
Centre issues guidelines to states and union territories for the interstate movement of stranded persons. The states asked to develop protocols for receiving and sending stranded migrants, pilgrims, tourists, students and others. The states need to agree on the movement by road subject to certain conditions. The Home Affairs Ministry holds a comprehensive review meeting on the lockdown situation, says restrictions should be strictly followed up to the 3rd of May to ensure that gains are not squandered away. New guidelines easing relaxations in several districts to come into effect from the 4th of May. Agricultural operations overcome lockdown odds. The Kharif sowing increases by 38% this year. The offtake of fertilizers and seeds higher than the last year. The government estimates 3% agricultural growth rate amid expectations of a normal monsoon. The COVID-19 transmission rate declines in India. Doubling rate is now at 11.3 days in the last few days. The mortality rate in India is 3% compared to the global mortality rate of 7%. The active COVID-19 cases in India reached 22,982. The death toll touches 1,008. 7,796 patients recover. The government urges all its officers, employees and the outsourced staff to download the Arogya Setu mobile app to break the transmission chain. In international news, the global tally of confirmed COVID-19 cases goes past 31 lakh with over 2,27,000 deaths. The US is the worst hit with over 60,000 deaths, followed by Italy, Spain and France. US says the drug remdesivir is showing clear-cut positive results in diminishing the time to recovery. Japanese Prime Minister says impossible to hold Olympic Games unless COVID-19 pandemic is contained. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. A top story: the migrant workers, tourists, students and other people stranded in different parts of the country due to the ongoing lockdown were on Wednesday allowed to move to the respective destinations with certain conditions, giving a big relief to the distressed people. In an order issued to all the states and the union territories, the Union Home Secretary said that buses shall be used for transport of such groups of stranded people, and these vehicles will be sanitized and will have to follow the safe social distancing norms in seating. The order comes into immediate effect. Listing the conditions, the ministry said that all the states and the union territories should designate the nodal authorities and develop standard protocols for receiving and sending such stranded persons. The nodal authorities shall also register the stranded persons within their states and union territories. The moving persons would be screened and those found asymptomatic would be allowed to proceed according to the Home Ministry. On arrival at the destination, they would be assessed by the local health authorities and kept in home quarantine unless the assessment requires keeping them in institutional quarantine. And all those people who avail the opportunity will be encouraged to use the Arogya Setu app, through which the health status can be monitored and tracked. The Home Secretary issued the order in this capacity as the chairperson of the National Executive Committee under the Disaster Management Act. And more news now on the COVID-19 lockdown guidelines. The Home Affairs Ministry has released a new guideline to fight COVID-19. They will come into effect from the 4th of May. These guidelines shall give considerable relaxations to many districts. And according to the Home Affairs Ministry, the details regarding this shall be communicated in the days to come. The Home Affairs Ministry held a comprehensive review meeting on the lockdown situation on Wednesday. There's been tremendous gains and improvement in the situation due to lockdown till now. And to ensure that these gains are not squandered away, the Home Affairs Ministry has said the lockdown guidelines should be strictly observed till the 3rd of May. as per the latest updated data provided by the Health Ministry, the active cases of COVID-19 in India stand at 22,982, with 1,008 deaths reported from across the country, while 7,796 patients have cured and been discharged. The COVID-19 transmission rate has declined in India. The doubling rate is now at 11.3 days in the last few days. And talking about the mortality rate in India, which is 3% compared to the global mortality rate of 7%. The centre has asked all its officers and staff working with the central government to download the Arogya Setu app. The Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions issued a memorandum stating that the Arogya Setu app is mandatory for the government officers, and all the officers, staff, including the outsourced staff working in the central government, should download the Arogya Setu app on their phones. The officers and staff should review their status on the app before starting for office and commute only when the app shows safe or low risk status. If the app shows that the person in the moderate or high risk zones, they should not go to office and self-isolate for 14 days or till the status becomes safe or low risk. The Joint Secretary of Administration shall ensure strict compliance. Similar instructions shall be issued to all the autonomous and the statutory bodies and the PSUs attached to various ministries. The Indian mission in the UAE has asked people willing to return home to India to e-register in order to create a database for the Indian nationals. The Indian mission in Abu Dhabi and Dubai have announced that Indian nationals should e-register on the website of the Indian Embassy in Abu Dhabi or the Indian Consulate in Dubai so that a database can be created for people who are wanting to return home amidst the unprecedented situation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. And people can also follow the link register in database of Indians to travel back to India under COVID-19 situation. It requires the asked people to fill separate forms for each member of the family, and the companies who are wanting to send their employees back have to fill separate for each of the employee. The form is simple, requiring only basic details like the passport, mobile number and the address in India. The decision, though, on the resumption of passenger flights to India will be taken in due course by the Government of India. The Indian mission also stated that any announcement regarding the flights will be made on a website and other social media platforms. However, the returnees have to fulfill all the conditions for travel as will be laid down by the UAE government on departure and those of the Indian government on arrival. People who find it difficult to fill the form should take the help of the Indian community organizations. The embassies have also asked people not to visit the mission for the purpose but to e-register on the website. The Indian mission in a statement said that the purpose of this e-registration is to only collect information and to make an estimate on the number of people who are wanting to return home to different parts of the country to enable the Indian government to plan for the returns of the Indians from abroad under the present situation. It further stated that it will enable the government to plan ahead to receive the people at India by taking all the precautions so that any spread of the COVID-19 can be avoided. Moving on now, Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday greeted his Bangladeshi counterpart Sheikh Hasina on the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan and discussed with her the COVID-19 situation and how the two neighbors can collaborate in the fight against the deadly virus. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "Spoke to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to greet her and the people of Bangladesh on the holy month of Ramadan. We discussed COVID-19 situation and the ways India and Bangladesh can collaborate in the fight against it. Our relationship with Bangladesh will continue to be one of our highest priorities," unquote. And the High Commission of India in Bangladesh said that the two leaders discussed the regional situation in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic and briefed each other about the steps being taken to mitigate its effect in the respective countries. Both the leaders expressed happiness at the progress made in implementing the special arrangements agreed on the 15th of March between the leaders of the SAARC countries. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina thanked Prime Minister Modi for taking the lead in coordinating efforts to combat COVID-19 in the region and for supplying medical aid to Bangladesh. Now, in view of the nationwide lockdown till the 3rd of May imposed to deal with the COVID-19 epidemic, many workers and students are stranded away from their home states. And in view of the problem, the Home Ministry has released a new guideline. The Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said that under this guideline, the coaching students of all the states staying in quota will now be able to return to their homes. He expressed confidence that following the guidelines issued by the central government, the state governments will fix their protocol and soon arrange to send all the sections to their homes. Now, as a sign of respect for the healthcare workers and professionals, the Delhi police undertook a parikrama of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the AIIMS. At least 250 police personnel came on a scooty motorbike to salute all the doctors, nurses, the paramedic staff and the cleaners, giving huge respect to all the doctors' fraternity. The police personnel from South Delhi rode 51 COVID patrol bikes on the occasion to thank the healthcare professionals for their selfless service to the country.
हम सब लोगों को तहे दिल से प्रशंसा करनी चाहिए, आपका धन्यवाद अदा करना चाहिए और इसी के चलते
The Human Resources Development Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has said that the CBSE's 10th and 12th board examinations of 29 major subjects will be held if the situation becomes normal after the lockdown ends. He said that the results of the remaining subjects will be released on the basis of internal assessment.
CBSE की परीक्षाएं जो रुकी हुई हैं, उन रुकी हुई परीक्षाओं को जैसे ही स्थिति सामान्य होगी, उन परीक्षाओं को कराया जाएगा और यदि ऐसा लगेगा कि और आगे और कठिनाइयों ने आना है तो 3 मई के बाद क्या परिस्थितियां होती हैं उसके बाद में विचार किया जाएगा। लेकिन अभी तक CBSE की 83 परीक्षाएं शेष हैं, जिसमें से 29 परीक्षाएं मूलता हैं। तो जो 29 परीक्षाएं मूल हैं, हम उन्हीं मूल परीक्षाओं को 29 परीक्षाओं को ही कराएंगे।
Now, during the lockdown period, the agricultural operations have been exempted from restrictions, even as agricultural schemes are being implemented. As a result of that, the agricultural trends are encouraging. From sowing to harvesting and from production to marketing, here are the details.
The lockdown notwithstanding, agriculture and allied activities are continuing unaffected in India. Farming operations, fisheries, plantations and animal husbandry have been exempted from the lockdown rules, and progress of agricultural operations so far is encouraging. Kharif sowing this year is 38% higher than the last year. 88% of harvesting is also over, and the number of procurement centers have more than doubled. Food production is set to exceed the target for this year. Kharif sowing is higher than last year, and horticulture production too is higher in 2019-20 than the previous year.
कि ग्रीष्मकालीन की जो फसलें हैं उनकी बुआई का क्षेत्र इस वर्ष 57.07 लाख हेक्टेयर है, जो गत वर्ष की तुलना में 38% अधिक है। ऐसी परिस्थिति में भी आगामी बुआई प्रभावित नहीं हुई, यह हम सबके लिए निश्चित रूप से बहुत ही प्रसन्नता का विषय है। बागवानी में भी अगर हम देखेंगे तो लगातार हम प्रगति कर रहे हैं। 18-19 में 310 बिलियन टन थे हम, और 19-20 में 313.35 बिलियन टन हमारा हुआ है। तो इस दिशा में भी किसान पूरी शिद्दत के साथ प्रयास कर रहे हैं। जैसे मैंने पहले PM किसान का बताया,
To ensure smooth supply of essential commodities including agriculture-related goods, interstate movement of trucks has been streamlined. Truck drivers stuck at state borders can call a call center for assistance. Meanwhile, a Kisan Rath Help Desk app has been operationalized, on which over 11 lakh vehicles are registered. It has details of transporters, vehicles and drivers, and farmers and traders can use it for logistical requirements. 60 new goods trains are also running on 66 railway lines.
इस ऐप का पूरे देश भर में किसान, व्यापारी सब लोग मिलकर बहुत अच्छे से उपयोग कर रहे हैं। वो ऐप पर जा सकते हैं और ऐप पर जाकर वो देख सकते हैं कि उनको किस क्षेत्र में लॉजिस्टिक की ज़रूरत है और वो अपनी हिसाब की लॉजिस्टिक को चयन करके और उससे कांटेक्ट करके आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। तो इस ऐप का भी निश्चित रूप से बहुत फ़ायदा इस पूरे क्षेत्र में हो रहा है।
Benefits of agricultural schemes like the PM Fasal Bima Yojana are reaching the farmers, even as the focus is on increasing the number of Kisan credit card holders and linking more mandis to eNAM. While 585 mandis have been linked to eNAM till 1st May, the number is likely to reach 685, and in May itself, the government plans to take the number to 1000.
आने वाले कल में भी अगर हम देखेंगे तो ध्यान में आएगा कि जो मौसम का अनुमान है उसको दृष्टिगत रखते हुए आने वाली फसल भी अच्छी होगी, यह विश्वासपूर्वक कहा जा सकता है। दलहन का उत्पादन भी 14-15 में 17.20 मिलियन टन था, अब 23 मिलियन टन हो गया है।
Farmers welcomed the relaxation from lockdown restrictions for agriculture and allied activities by the government and point to how the farming community is observing precautions like social distancing and wearing face covers. With inputs from Dheeraj Kumar in New Delhi, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
Meanwhile, the BJP President JP Nadda discussed various issues related to COVID-19 through video conferencing with the Northeast MLAs. He praised the relief work being done in the region to tackle the virus. The Department of Science and Technology and its various autonomous institutions have made some significant efforts to address research and development and innovation challenges arising from the COVID-19 pandemic. Our correspondent Tapash Bhattacharya spoke with the Professor Ashutosh Sharma, the Secretary, Department of Science and Technology.
How long do you think that this diagnostic kit, which is very important in current scenario where we have to do testing, for a large number of people, how long will it take to come in the market and get approved?
Yes, so it's on the way to approval by ICMR. All the tests have been done. So now they have already tied up with a couple of companies. The talks are progressing very well with one of the big companies, which may have global reach. So my sense is that by end of May, we may have first 100 machines. So it's just another 1 month. 100 machines, don't forget, 100 machines means one machine doing 1,000 tests a day.
TST is also making a major headway when it comes to new kind of ventilators which are cheap as well as quite easily can be put in place.
And another way that we are fighting with the virus barrel is activating our startup ecosystem. So we did a mapping of all the startups, some 700, which are in incubators supported by DST. And we found that nearly 100 of them actually have some very worthwhile product to offer in this. And about 50 of them are being funded because they have a product which is very advanced, which can be manufactured right away. So they are already connecting with the industry for manufacturing, and ventilators is one such item. There are other items, for example, disinfecting systems. What you need is for the entire hospital room, for the surfaces, not just for people, but for reusing PPEs and masks and everything.
Which countries has come forward to have collaboration with India?
We already have a call out with USA. Because there is a very nice system we already have with USA working, so that these proposals, which would be collaborative proposals, are being gathered, and within the next 10 days or so that we would be able to fund these collaborative projects.
Well, appreciate your time. So that was Secretary DST telling us that it is a multidimensional problem, and to solve this problem, a multi-dimensional solution needs to be found for this in this regard. With the cameraman Smurti Ranjan, this is Taposh Bhattacharya, DD India, Delhi.
Critically acclaimed actor Irfan Khan breathed his last on Wednesday at the Kokulaben Hospital in Mumbai. The actor was a master at conveying complex feelings through the smallest of acts, a talent that earned him the rare distinction of conquering both Hindi cinema and the Hollywood with his integrity intact. Internationally acclaimed sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik paid tribute to the great actor in his own artistic way. Take a look. Irfan Khan will be immensely missed. Recalling the indelible contribution of Irfan Khan to Bollywood, the Oscar Academy also paid tribute to the departed star. In a tweet it said, I quote, "A mainstay of Bollywood cinema and incredible talent in films like The Slumdog Millionaire, Life of Pi and The Namesake, Irfan Khan left his imprint on the global cinema. An inspiration to millions, he will be greatly missed," unquote. And in some more COVID-19 news from across the world, in the world's worst coronavirus-hit country, the US, the death toll has spiked to more than 60,875, while the number of cases of infection has also crossed to 138,450 in the country. President Donald Trump has expressed confidence that the virus would be eradicated and the country was now equipped to put out the burning embers. President Trump has said that he wants the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to help fast-track the use of a closely watched intravenous therapeutic drug currently undergoing trials for treating COVID-19 patients. When asked about the FDA to grant emergency use of authorization for remdesivir, he said that the U.S. wants everything to be safe but would like to see very quick approvals, especially with things that work. The top U.S. infectious disease official said Gilead Sciences Inc.'s experimental antiviral drug, the remdesivir, will become the standard of care for COVID-19. American physician and immunologist Dr. Anthony Fauci said that studies show that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. And in fact, remdesivir is also believed to have improved the recovery time from 15 days to 11 days.
The data shows that remdesivir has a clear-cut, significant, positive effect in diminishing the time to recovery. The time to recovery being shorter in the remdesivir arm, it was 11 days compared to 15 days.
And our correspondent Jagruti Dave has more details on the statement of Dr. Anthony, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases Director, on the drug remdesivir.
Early results from the clinical trial conducted by the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases showed that patients who had been given remdesivir recovered from COVID-19 31% faster than those who'd been given a placebo. The Institute's director, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who also sits on the government's coronavirus task force, said the findings were highly significant and said what is proven is that a drug can block the virus. Speaking earlier at the White House, Dr. Fauci said the antiviral drug made by the company Gilead Sciences will become the standard of care for COVID-19. However, he urged caution, saying that it wasn't a knockout for the virus. The effect of the drug on death rates is less clear, and the study conducted by the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases also still needs to be peer-reviewed. But in the absence of a proven drug against COVID-19, reports say the US's Food and Drug Administration is expected to authorize emergency use of remdesivir for patients who need it.
The COVID-19 cases in Spain has surged to more than 236,890, while the death toll in the country has also surpassed 24,270. According to the Spanish Health Ministry, it has recorded 325 deaths from the COVID-19 overnight, which is up from 301 reported the previous day. The Spanish Prime Minister has defended his government's management of the coronavirus emergency in Parliament. He added that the government is planning a 4-phase de-escalation of the state of emergency from the country. And considering the critical situation going on across the world due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has said that it will be impossible to host the Tokyo Olympic Games next year unless the COVID-19 pandemic is contained. The International Olympic Committee and the Japanese government postponed the Games last month until July 2021 because of the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak. With the epidemic's worldwide infection rate climbing and experts suggesting a vaccine is still a long way off, questions are being asked about whether the huge set-piece event might need to be delayed further. Now, on the occasion of the World Dance Day yesterday, the Chinese exponents of the Indian classical dance were engrossed in spreading the essence of Indian classical dance forms Odissi and Bharatanatyam by imparting virtual classes in the times of COVID-19.
这段时间我们不能出行，此时此刻我们无法见面，但是我们还有舞蹈，这种与自然和人最直接的沟通方式，没有物种的隔阂，无需语言解释，甚至没有时差。当我们赤脚踏在大地上，当我们用手语和眼神讲述故事，我们是在和大自然母亲对话。舞蹈的节拍让我们震动在同一频率，坚定的步伐踏出心底的爱和祈祷。愿地球母亲早日康复，愿世界和平，人民安康富足。
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.